Well, hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Wellness by Design today. I'm Jane Hogan, the wellness engineer, and I'm really excited today because I've got a local girl. She's just up the road from me from Pasadena, Newfoundland, Sharon Evans. Welcome, Sharon.
Thank you, Jane, for having me. I'm quite excited as well.
So nice to support our local community here, our wellness community, and you're going to talk about meditation, which is something I know is such a powerful tool, and really, it's not just for people who aren't well. Really, everybody can benefit from meditation because, well, you're going to talk about it, I'm sure, but we're all going around in a state that we need to calm down a little bit and have this little break. So I'm going to tell everyone a little bit about you by reading your bio. So Sharon Evans, CHSEP, founder and owner of SEVA Meditation, a business built on passion based on research, well-being, and humanitarianism. An accredited meditation expert and business professional with over 30 years in the educational and corporate world, Sharon trained in Transcendental Meditation from the Maharishi Institute and is a certified Primordial Sound Meditation Instructor from the Chopra Centre University in Carlsbad, California. Sharon's desire is for people to experience the many benefits a simple meditation practice can provide. She's been teaching meditation and leading guided meditation to corporations, groups, adults, and children since 2015. Sharon believes a meditation practice combined with healthy eating, active physical activity, and healthy sleep habits encourages a culture of mindfulness, thus reducing stress and anxiety and ultimately optimizing outputs, creating a joyful and loving experience. And you can find Sharon on her website at www.sevameditation.com. Sharon, I'm just so glad you're here. And we all have our own story. You were in the corporate world before, and so you've been doing this meditation since 2015. What what made you make the switch? I remember a mutual friend of ours saying she reinvented herself. So why did you decide to make this switch and reinvent yourself?
Thank you, Jane. I think life is change and we're reinventing ourselves every moment, whether
True.
we deliberately do this or if we embrace it. So I just embraced what is already there, what's already happening. I'm just going with the flow. So I've got a picture that I always show my new clients and my new friends when I started to really embrace who I truly was. And here it is.
Oh, so cute.
I'm in grade two, I think. So that's when I started to reinvent myself. So somebody who made that comment has known me since maybe grade two. So I grew up in Corner Brook and I had a nice solid foundation of, I'm going to say, prayerfulness. So all the conditioning and the training that most people have prepares you for either accepting a peaceful existence or resisting. So most of us are resisting what is because we're trying to eke out a living, we're trying to get educated, we're competing in life,
Mm.
where there's this soft, gentle surrender that we're not led to very often. So meditation and prayer are pretty much in line with that. It's a gentle surrender to what is and going with the flow of life, which I had to learn. Nobody taught me those skills. I was too busy having fun and just running with the wind, running with the crowd. So I was introduced to prayer. I as a Catholic, I recited the rosary. I did all the things that the Catholic education provided me. And then I did a lot of soul searching in the meantime. So it opened up. I'm so thankful for the opportunity to be led in that direction. It opened up a part of me that I probably never would have delved into, which is the spiritual world. So
Mm.
religion paved the way, but it didn't take me there. I went there with the spiritual practice of mindfulness and meditation. So prayer does lead you there. It silences the activity. It allows you to sit and not be active. No doing, simply being. So then after the prayers are recited, what then? So it's almost like the prayer could be likened to a yoga practice, because yoga, which means union, leads us inward, connects us with our body, all the poses, connects us with our breath. And then we have stillness and silence. So what do we do then? What do we do with this stillness and silence? Well, most of us resist it because it's uncomfortable. But what meditation does is gets us comfortable with that space of quiet and stillness. And then we make friends with that. And we're comfortable with that. It really is the pathway to peace. And I'd like to, Jane, if I could, read a little poem that I wrote back in 2017, just after I started teaching meditation. It says, "Your soul speaking. Listen, this is your soul speaking. I don't usually speak in words. I gently whisper to you as you travel from thought to thought. When you bend your ear to my voice, you hear a faint reminder of knowledge you've forgotten or cannot accept as real. You've become too familiar with the idea of your imperfections, but then you hear my tantalizing truths of your beautiful perfection and purpose. Stay with me. I long for you to stay. Stay until you can be certain, and then watch your dreams come true from this space of possibility, wishing, and desire. You will awaken to the trueness of who you really are, and remember that we are all traveling the same journey together. Be tender, awaken, accept, and live. Live from your soul." So that's the reinvention of me. I began to live from this space of my soul. So whenever I get in my head space, I'm reminded that's my mind and my ego, if you will. But I know exactly where to go to live from my soul space, and that the true me, the true being, which is in every person. So that's the reinvention, I guess you had as the segue to my interview. That's really what all of us are waiting for, isn't it? To live from our soul and our true purpose, why we're here.
I think you're right. I think people are looking for something beyond the daily busyness of our minds. And I love the way you talked about that it's separate from the mind. The mind is there to help us navigate this life, but we are so much bigger than that in the soul. And just the way you talk, Sharon, you're so peaceful, and just as soon as you speak, I feel more peaceful. So thank you for sharing that. So what would you say to people who, so many people feel like meditation's so hard, or I tried that, it didn't work for me. Like, what would you say to people who say that?
What would I say to people that say it's so hard? It's easy. It's the easiest thing you'll ever do. You don't need to buy anything. You don't need to have any props or any equipment. You don't even need me. After you're led in a meditation practice, you only need the desire and the willingness to sit and practice. I teach this to children, and I sit with the children at the recreational centers and in schools. And my friend, who's an artist in Pasadena, she made me this little prop. She said it reminded her of me, so she made it. And I bring this to the children's session, and it's Miss SEVA. And the children can ask questions. So similar to the one that you just asked is something that a child might ask, because when you ask as a child, you'll receive, because it's innocent and there's willingness there. You don't have to understand. You just want to try it. And that's what kids are like. So they'll ask Miss SEVA questions, and then I'll answer. So what would Miss SEVA say is hard about meditating? There's nothing hard about meditating, is there, Miss SEVA? No. All you have to do is sit. Close your eyes, and Miss SEVA doesn't even have eyes. She's faceless and she's timeless. So she just sits. She sits in silence, and in silence and in stillness, all the answers come. She doesn't have to ask anybody any questions. She just sits there, and it's like magic. That's what I tell the children. They get connected to their true selves, their true being. And then sometimes they'll say, "Can I make a wish?" And I'll say, "Sure, what do you wish for?" "You don't have to tell me." I said, "Just keep it between you and your soul, but you can look at Miss SEVA and you can make a wish for yourself. And, I guess treating the whole experience childlike makes it more approachable, because there's nothing hard about meditation. And the way your life unfolds after is it's like a miracle. So I'm not always calm, Jane, but I do recognize when I'm not calm as being connected with my mind. And my mind always leads me in a different direction. So the message is less doing and more being. So when we stay in that space more, we can move through our life from that space that you like to call peaceful and calm and joy. It is possible.
I love that. I love that little doll. So for anyone that's just listening to the podcast, you can go and watch YouTube if you'd like to see Miss SEVA and see what she looks like. Beautiful little felted doll that looks like Sharon.
It does.
Except Sharon
gray
has
hair
eyes.
And everything. She got gray hair. She got her little mala beads. Yeah.
But Sharon has eyes.
Yeah.
So, all right. And I think that's really beautiful that it may even be easier for children because they haven't kind of gone so far down the road with this busy mind that we have. So what would you say to people who, I hear this a lot, like, I just can't still my mind. The Buddhists call it the monkey mind.
Monkey mind.
How do you help people or teach people to stop that monkey mind? Or maybe you don't stop it, but work with that monkey mind.
Yeah. The Buddhist tradition also encouraged no mind or beginner's mind. So when we look at stuff, whether it's a practice or even just baking a cake, whatever you're doing, if you look at it as if you're just learning and you're really engaged in it, well, your baking turns out better. So your life will too if you meditate. So whatever your approach is. So if you go in with the approach of resistance, well, there'll be resistance, and there'll be more thought, then there'll be more anxiety and anxiousness, whatever it is that may block the progress of your practice. But the number one thing, Jane, is to practice. We don't have to have any knowing or any understanding of it. You don't have to believe in anything. You don't have to change any belief systems. All you have to do is practice. And simply with practicing, you receive the benefits. Because you're becoming still immediately. As soon as you start to focus on your breath and introduce the mantra, which maybe I'll get to lead you and your group or the listeners later, immediately you start reversing the effects of stress and fight and flight that you've accumulated. So you're right. The children, they're starting with less of that accumulation. I mean, adults we're like onions. We peel back the layers, all this residual stress we're trying to release. So, practice. That's the number one thing. Don't give up on your practice, because when you give up on your practice, you're giving up on yourself, and your true purpose for being here is to expand and to soften, become tender, compassionate, open, and we live from that space.
Love it. And I just want to point out that the meditation is thousands and thousands of years old, this practice, but there's science now, that has studied the effects of meditation, and there's so much science behind the benefits of meditation for, like, on so many levels. So, as you said, reducing stress. And I'm pretty sure that almost all chronic illnesses begin with stress. So anything that we can do to lower stress and get ourselves into that beautiful parasympathetic state where we're resting, we're digesting, and we're healing is going to help if you've got any health problems. But even if you don't have health problems, we've all got stress that we need to just let it go, so that we get those little glimpses into that bigger version of ourselves, that soulful version of ourselves. That's really who we are. We're not this mind and this body. We're really that bigger version. And meditation is a way to help us touch that part of ourselves that we don't see very much. But I would love to, or maybe we should be seeing that part of ourselves all the time. And the more we do meditation, the more we can do that. So I'd love for you to lead us in a little guided meditation, Sharon.
Okay. So the thing to remember too, Jane, is that, the idea is not to remove stress from our life, because stress is a motivator. And even the good stress, like what comes with Christmas and birthdays and celebrations, it all has the same impact on our bodies. I think the purpose is not to eliminate stress, but it's to move through stress with least resistance, with surrender. So surrender simply doesn't mean to accept or to pretend that something is not affecting us in an adverse way. It's a default that our body becomes in line with surrender. We accept every moment as if we designed it this way. And then we can move through it from a place of less resistance. And even from spinning your wheels in the winter, we're quite familiar with that in Newfoundland. What spinning our wheels are like, or we used to be anyway back in the day. We got better tires now, I guess. But when you're spinning your wheels, I mean, you're not moving, so you're not going to get anywhere. But if you let go and you just surrender and accept the situation, somebody will come along, put a bit of sand or a bit of something under your tire and gently move you on your way. But if you sat there and spun your wheels, you're not moving. So it allows you to accept the moment, move through the situation from that space so that help is on its way.
Yeah.
No resistance from the mind. The mind will always resist and manipulate. But the spirit, soul, the true being in surrender will accept what is, and then in rushes the help.
Yeah.
So if you want me to lead us in a meditation, I can do that. I certainly can. I'd love to.
Yeah. I'll just say for a moment that we all, as you said, we have stress. And it's not even really the stress that creates the problem in us. It's the way we perceive the stress, because as you said, we're resisting it all the time. So if we can relax into it and kind of look at what is it here to teach me. Sometimes it's hard to see that when we're busy, but if we can slow down and become the observer, which is something we can do in meditation or just by literally slowing down, then it allows us to take those situations and perceive them in a different way, so that it's not that the situation changes, it's that our perception of it changes. Okay, let's do this beautiful meditation.
So I'll invite you to sit comfortably.
Yep.
And just float your eyes closed. And I'm going to do the same thing.
Yeah.
And
if you're driving, of course.
Hey?
If you're driving while you're listening to this podcast, obviously
if you're driving,
don't do this
well,
now.
We'll come back and visit this later.
Yeah.
Or pull over. Thank you.
Okay.
So you can just float your eyes closed and bring your awareness to your breath. And I'm joining you in this space of surrender. Even speaking that gentle word quietly to yourself. Just recite it to your mind, in your mind. Surrender. It's just such a beautiful word. It's so sweet. I surrender. I'm surrendering to this moment. And now bring your awareness to your breath. And just observe your breath. Receive the wisdom of the breath on the inhale. And release on the exhale. We receive. And we let go. With each exhalation, relax deeper into this moment. With all its magic and wonder. Relax deeper. And let's remind ourselves, I am not this body. I am not this mind. This moment is inevitable. The rules of the universe are my rules. My ability to respond is limitless. And I am mother to the world. Let's breathe that in and sigh it out. And now you can introduce a mantra. So hum. Quietly and gently repeat, so hum. Almost like you're listening to it in the background of your mind. So your mind may drift away from the mantra to noises in the environment or sensations in your body or thoughts in your mind. Whenever you become aware that you're not repeating the mantra, gently come back to the mantra. So hum. So hum. Continue with your eyes closed, gently repeating the mantra. I'll let you know when it's time to release the mantra. So hum. Remain with your eyes closed. You can release the mantra. Rest in presence. Rest in awareness. Rest in this peaceful space that you've created for yourself. Just rest. Satanama. Satanama. I am the light of my soul. I am the light of my soul. I am light. I am light. I am, I am, I am. I am, I am, I am. Allow your breathing to become deeper. Bring some gentle movement back to your toes. Wiggle your toes and your fingers. Gently move your head from side to side. And when you're ready, you can let your eyes float open. Bring your hands to your heart center. And we bow namaste. Namaste, my friends. Namaste. The divine light in me recognizes the divine light in each of you. Namaste, Jane.
Namaste, Sharon.
My friend.
Ah, that was so lovely. Oh, so beautiful.
Thank you.
Calming. Oh, I bet the audience is feeling calm now. So just really simple, such a simple mantra. So hum. It's just very simple, easy to remember, so that if your mind does wander off, you can come back to that mantra again. And I find it really helpful actually to do the mantra, because it kind of gives the brain something to focus on instead of wandering off.
Mantra is a Sanskrit word that means vehicle of the mind. So just like when you get in your vehicle and you drive it from Steadybrook to Pasadena, and you know it's going to get you there because you've got a reliable vehicle, the mantra is a reliable vehicle. So when we repeat the mantra, it allows us to slip into that space between thoughts. So that's where the mantra leads us, that gap between our thoughts, our true self.
The gap between the thoughts. Okay. And what does soham actually mean, or does it not matter?
It doesn't. It's a Sanskrit word that means I am.
Yeah.
There's many, many mantras.
Thousands.
Right. That's an easy one that I find people resonate with, because they don't have to think too much about it, and the intellect doesn't start, questioning, am I saying it right, or what does that mean? Yeah.
I've done some of the Deepak Chopra and Oprah. Their 21-day meditations, which I really love. But sometimes the mantras get a little complicated. Like, what was that? And then
Yeah.
I've lost it
Yes.
and I can't come
Yeah.
back to it. So I do like the simple ones like that. The so
So
hum
great
is,
for beginners.
yeah, yeah. What a beautiful place to start. And what about other meditation styles? So, for example, I know I've read some books by Pema Chodron, and the type of meditation that they were trained in was with eyes open.
Yeah.
So, have you ever done any of that type of meditation?
I've practiced in those styles, gazing at candles or
Yep.
lights in particular. The purpose of the meditation, I find it quite effective as well. But I find if my eyes are open, I'm easily distracted.
Yeah.
And I think most people are. So the intention of closing the eyes is we move inward.
Yeah.
And the eyes open are great and beneficial for mindful walking, mindful ironing, mindful whisking eggs. All those
Mindful,
things we need
mindful
your
cooking
eyes
supper.
open for.
That's funny. And yeah, mindful walking. I mean, it's a form of meditation, really, isn't it?
Yes. I know when I first started leading groups in mindfulness walks and even silent mindfulness eating, the resistance was there.
Yeah.
Like, what? We're not going to be able to speak right through dinner? There'll be 30 of us. Well, how will we get what we need? And I said, just humor me. Just try it. Let's see how we do without speaking. And then over time, it becomes so beautiful and so peaceful, the silence. If I give an opportunity to say, okay, now you can speak, there's no speaking because it's so comfortable. And it's
Yeah.
like the mindful walking in nature. We embrace the earth. We listen to the birds. We experience, the great outdoors, the sunlight. We're mindful. We're more mindful. So we're not caught up in the chatter and the what am I going to say next? Or
Mhm.
is somebody going to ask me something? We are very mindful and we bring our attention mindfully to our movement and our breath. And it's quite beautiful.
Mm. I love that. And there's a bunch of different meditation apps out there now, Calm and Insight Timer, to name just a couple. Uh, a lot of these have guided meditations on them. So what do you think of the guided meditation? I mean, is it a good first step for people, or do you think better to just get used to the silent and saying a mantra?
I think you nailed it earlier there, Jane. There's a lot of support now here in our little community alone. There's a lot of people that are teaching these techniques. So to have to go online now or focus on an app or find an app, it's not really necessary because there's a lot of live people here. I'm alive and I'm here. I'll teach you. However, like I don't just automatically sign on to anything without doing the necessary investigation. You're opening up your psyche and your psychology. You're opening up your whole mind to an avenue. And, you had to be very careful over who you hand that. That's a precious gift you're opening that up to. So I would really check the criteria. And I usually check, I'm in constant contact with the Chopra team. If there's any questions that I have about meditation or certain practices, or what do you think of this technique, or I was thinking about doing this training with Sadhguru, is he, credible? They really are the experts, top 500 spiritual leaders in the world. They're there to support us. So I take my lead from them. They've led me this far. And so I just don't go on YouTube and click on a link that says, mindfulness meditation without the criteria being met,
That's great advice there. Oh, okay, so we've got a little practice that we've done. We've got a mantra that anyone can do, and we know that it's easy. Just got to sit there and do nothing,
Yeah.
and keep the mind on that mantra, and you just do it. You just
And
do it.
Jane, you and I talked before we came on live, or before we went live, and I really do 100% believe that the mindfulness, meditation, yoga, holistic approach is the missing link into wellness. It needs more support. It needs more awareness. it needs more authenticity. It needs a stamp of authenticity to say, like, it's almost like we need an Oprah Winfrey waving a flag and saying, this is good. This is the missing link for wellness, for the health and wellness circle, right? There is something missing because we see society suffering and struggling and our healthcare system in crisis. We need to incorporate this, and this gives the responsibility to each individual. It gives them back their own power to heal and to assist in that process.
Yeah.
So you and I are doing this work. And we know what's involved in this. We're vibrating at a frequency that keeps our health and wellness optimal. So we're making wiser choices. We're eating better. We're exercising. So all those things, aid to our overall well-being. And this is the message that really needs to get out there. And this is what I do every day.
It's a beautiful message of empowerment, Sharon, that we have the ability, we create the vibration of our body, right? We can create the vibration that is a healing vibration, or we can create a vibration that's a vibration of illness. Yeah. And no one can do that but us.
Yeah. And that low vibration, there's no coincidence that the word depression is a low vibration. And, I've had experiences in my life where I've been low, and it's very hard to come out of those experiences. So once you know how to lift yourself naturally with meditation and yoga and mindfulness and, nutrition, and you can sustain that then, so that you recognize when the depression is approaching, and there's something that I need to do. What is it? I need to sit in stillness, or I need to get in nature. I need to meditate. I need to do yoga. I don't look out there for the answer or the cure. It's very empowering. The responsibility is mine, and it is limitless.
So true. So true. And the other thing that happens, like on a physiological level, when we are more peaceful and calm, like literally the cognitive thinking part of our brain actually grows, and then we make better decisions, which is why then we'll make better choices with food. We're not going to eat like the whole tray of cookies or whatever. Yeah, the whole bag of chips.
Which I love.
Or at all. Yeah. So we make better decisions, right? So,
and Jane, the other interesting thing that caught my attention when I started my training at the Chopra Centre, I'm sure you're familiar with this. At the end of the DNA, is it telomeres?
Telomeres,
wave-like projections. They did studies on aging, and the telomeres or telomeres, however you pronounce it, they're responsible. They shorten and they get smaller as we age. So what the studies produced at the end of the study, people who are mindful and people who practice meditation, the telomeres, not only did they decrease slower, in certain instances, they actually grew. So like I'm planning on, I don't know how I'll feel, but I'm planning on buying into that. I mean, it's only to sit in meditation and practice meditation for a couple times a day, for 10, 15 minutes, whatever you got, and look at the benefits, overall well-being, and you look younger.
Yeah, well, look how good Sharon looks. Look
oh my gosh. I got my lipstick on today, Jane.
Yeah. Funny you mentioned about the telomeres. So just in case someone doesn't know what they are, they're almost like, the little pieces of plastic that are on the end of shoelaces.
Yeah.
It's like on the end of our DNA, that's there. And every time the cells replicate, a little bit gets shortened and they get shortened and shortened and shortened and shortened. And eventually they can't replicate anymore. But meditation is one of the things that can stop them shortening so quickly, but also lengthen them even. So aging backwards.
Yeah, that's right. What's his name? Benjamin Buttons. Was that a movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go. Meditation. You can get younger all the time.
And Jane, you feel it. You feel so vibrant and you feel so alive. And that is why we're here. We're here to expand in that way. We're here to enjoy life and to soak it all up, not be trapped in our past or anxious about our future, in the present moment, enjoying it. That's where it's at.
Yeah. Well, thank you for bringing these present moments to us. And I've got one last question I ask all my guests, Sharon, and that is, what's one action someone could take today to improve their health? I wonder what Sharon's going to say.
The only thing that you need to do, or you need to remember, is that you're in the driver's seat. If you can sit in quiet stillness, carve out a little time throughout your day to sit in silence. Bring your awareness to your breath, just like we just did. It's not hard. You will 100% see the benefits in your life. Your life will unfold magically. You'll want more of it. Your friends, your family, your husbands or wives or spouses, they'll see the difference in you. You'll reinvent yourself.
Yeah.
And it will be a blessing to you and the world. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Let's do it. So Sharon, thank you for that. Where can people find out more about you?
You can follow me on Facebook, Sharon O'Neill Evans. My website, www.sevameditation.com. And you can call me too. Like I even got my own cell phone. 632-3826, area code 709 for those of you outside of Newfoundland.
Okay, that's fantastic. I don't think I've had a guest before give out their phone numbers.
You can call me.
Thank you so much, Sharon, for being the guest on Wellness by Design today. And I really, really love what you've shared. And I hope the audience will do that one little bit of sitting still for just a little while and just practice.
And you know, Jane, I'm going to take an opportunity now to thank you for what you're doing, because I know you're quite involved and you're quite busy. And this is why you're here. You're here to heal yourself and the world. I can't thank you enough for having me. Keep up the fabulous work yourself.
Oh, thank you, Sharon. And thank you for the beautiful work you're doing in the world too.
Thank you.
All right. And thanks for joining us, everyone. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.